Today on Geeks at the Movies, we're doing extra credit. Welcome back, Geek fans. My name is Shane Grudge. Joining me is Caleb Soderberg, and today we bring to you a special episode of Geeks at the Movies. We are reviewing The King's Speech for our public speaking class. It's an extra credit assignment. We decided to tie it into Geeks at the Movies, so let's just get right to it. The King's Speech was directed by Tom Hooper, stars Colin Firth as King George VI, and Jeffrey Rush as his speech therapist, Lionel Lounge. Caleb, what did you think about this movie? What were your thoughts going into it? I mean, what did you know?
I have seen this movie before, but I didn't look at it analytically. So I did pick up on a lot of movie making techniques, but most especially the basic overview and outline of the movie involves King George VI.
Who we meet, but before he's the king.
Right, when he's the Duke of York. He has a severe speech impediment. He cannot speak when he public speaks. He can't talk to his friends and family properly. He stammers and stutters like crazy, chokes on his words. But the entire point of the movie, The King's Speech, is it's World War II era, and he's as king, he's obligated to give a speech to the entire country, even all the British Empire and colonies. And this is monumental task of talking with every single one of his subjects, but he doesn't know how to speak.
Right.
So he comes across this very not really strange doctor, but an unconventional doctor
who's not actually a doctor. We learn later in the film.
Right, but he's a speech therapist.
Yes.
And he doesn't have certifications. He doesn't have a doctorate degree or anything.
He disagrees with common wisdom.
Right.
Cigarette smoking's bad for you.
Yeah, and at that era, smoking was widely accepted, if not beneficial.
Medicinal smoking. It's true, folks. Look it up.
But Lionel Lounge, the therapist, he takes unconventional methods when dealing with speech impaired people. So he takes the king kind of under his wing, and or rather the Duke of York at that time. He's totally against it. He's like I don't need your I don't need your help. This is rubbish, and he keeps walking away and storming away.
Colin Firth gets angry a lot in this film.
Oh yeah,
he has a temper.
Yeah, his character is it's all about temper. And there's one point in the film where he just swears like crazy, curse word after curse word, but he doesn't stutter. When he's yelling at people, he doesn't stutter.
When he's singing, he doesn't stutter. When he's talking to his children, he also speaks pretty well. But there's certain situations, most other speaking situations, where he just falls apart. Eventually, you get down to the crux of the matter. They talk about his childhood. His father wasn't the nicest guy. His brother made fun of him for his speech impediment, and just progress from there. Also, you have to understand something about the time. He was not expected to be king. He was the second brother. His elder brother became Edward VII, but then decided to get into some crazy affair with a married woman, and he abdicated the throne. This was crazy. This was shortly before the outbreak of World War II. This is during the rise of Hitler. So he's under this incredible stress where he was always a background figure, and now he's thrown to the forefront. And I think Colin Firth in this movie nails the performance. I've seen it in other films, and the awkwardness he displays, the awkwardness the audience feels from the very opening scene. He's giving this speech, and he can't get it out. And you, as the audience, are watching him, and you're like, okay.
There's a little bit cringe factor.
And you think to yourself as it's going on, those first few minutes, you're like, they're gonna end it here. Oh no. Okay, they're gonna end it here. Oh no. They kept letting it go on until the point where you see the audience members, the actual people at the speech, at the ceremony, they start looking away. Just like you do in real life. When you encounter people in real life and they start to embarrass themselves, it can be uncomfortable. It's like, I don't want to watch this.
Right.
And the audience, you as the audience, feel that. So I was really impressed by the director's, the cinematography, the images he used. He uses these very close-up shots. They're only 6 inches away from you, the camera, and it highlights the awkwardness and the feelings of the characters.
Yeah, it does have a very personal touch. When you're watching him stutter in those first beginning speeches, you feel like you're right there. And you're emphasizing with him, poor bugger.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah. But going further into the movie, the Duke of York, Colin Firth's character, he's not alone. He has his family to kind of back him up. His loving wife, played by Helena Bonham Carter, she's always there for him. Tries comforting him whenever things go wrong, or he messes up his speech or something like that, or he gets mad at himself for messing up. She's always there, right beside him to comfort him.
It's a very sympathetic portrayal of George VI.
Right.
Now, I also want to mention a few things. People on the show know that I'm trained to be an historian, and I love historical dramas, so I want to get this right out of the way. If you're interested in watching this movie to learn about the events that happened in George VI's lifetime, this movie is not for you. They mixed everything up. The actual speech therapy sessions, he became much better at speaking in a much shorter amount of time than depicted in the movie. The movie takes him years to be able to do a basic speech. In real life, within a few months, his speech was dramatically improved. They mixed around characters. They throw some famous historical figures in there, like Winston Churchill, Neville Chamberlain. These are big players in history, but most of these players would not have been around George at this time or the times they depict in his life. But as an artistic piece, as a movie, it works great. Like, they alter things for good dramatic effect. And that's what I always complain about. I hate when they change things arbitrarily. But then, they changed it for a dramatic effect. Other things they didn't change. If you want to look at the time period, they do a great job with the cars, the people, the mannerisms. It brings the 1930s to life. The England in the 1930s, like, wow, this is how it really was. The smog. This was a city that ravaged by pollution, ravaged by the Industrial Revolution. And it brings that to life. And as a history buff, I like seeing that. And I understand the changes they made for the dramatic purposes.
Another thing that they did, which I really liked, was the quality of the radio and this like wireless network going on with recording at that time. And I just love like the graininess of like the sound of the radio, where like you feel like you're actually listening to an old time broadcast, even though it's done by the actors in this present day made movie. You feel like you're back in the 20s and 30s.
The equipment they're using, at the very beginning they have a scene where there's a radio guy him preparing, and he's really old school, doing the old school exercises. I enjoyed that aspect of the movie. I thought this movie was really well done. It was a great portrayal of the king. It was you could emphasize with the characters a lot. The end scene, it's the big payoff. Oh, he does his speech, and it's great, and it's wonderful, it's terrific. It's kind of a feel-good movie as well. It also highlights, people that have confidence issues. Because at the heart of it, George VI, he just wasn't a confident person. He grew up under the shadow of his older brother, under the shadow of the king, and they highlight that, I think.
And there wasn't really anyone to support him other than his wife. I mean, his brother picks on him. Even as adults, his brother picks on him.
Yes.
His father was kind of abusive, verbally abusive, so he was never confident growing up, and therefore he's not confident as a man or even a king.
Right.
He doesn't even want to be king once he has the mantle. He's like, I was not made for this. I don't want to do this. But, as he goes on, he learns from experience through the speech therapy, he becomes confident as king and finally delivers at the end of the movie with the king's speech.
Were there any aspects of this movie you felt were lacking?
I feel like some of the pacing was off. I feel like there was too much stuttering. I mean, I know that's his character. I just feel like the movie got bogged down. It's just, I don't know, some of the pacing was off, but everything was through experience. We were seeing him get better at speaking and public speaking. But I just feel like there was a little bit too much of that.
I hadn't really thought about it that way, but because I thought, look, these characters is awkward. They're really trying to hammer home how horrible this is for him.
Yeah.
Right? If you just saw it in one or two scenes and then he gets better, you wouldn't have really gotten that. But I do see your point that maybe they could have cut back just a little bit on that just for pacing reasons. Because eventually it becomes a little bit of a repetitive story where, okay, I have a speech. I need to get this guy to help me. I'm going to get pissed off at him at some point. There's going to be little problems. They're going to come together, and I'm going to do better. And it's kind of it's a secular thing, and it keeps happening, but then it keeps getting a little better each time. Maybe they could have cut back on that a little bit, but still, otherwise, I think this is a great movie. And if I had to rate it, and here I review it out of 5 stars. You can review it whatever you want, because that's what we do at Geeks At The Movies. I'd give this movie 5 stars. It's an excellent film.
I would give it 4.75 kittens out of 5 kittens.
That's a lot of kittens.
So I really did enjoy this movie. Everything about it was awesome. I mean, the humor by Jeffrey Rush really helped with the speech therapy lessons, and also helped me enjoy those scenes a lot more as an audience member.
The contrast was great between Jeffrey Rush and Colin Firth's character. They're very different, but they come together at the end as friends. So I enjoyed that aspect.
Me too.
All right then, folks. Make sure to check out The King's Speech. If you're interested in historical dramas, if you're just interested in a good movie about a man overcoming his own personal demons, check it out. I give it 5 stars. He gave it 0.75 kittens, right?
Yep.
Out of 5 kittens. Those are both fantastic scores. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. This has been Geeks at the Movies.
See you guys.